All right, what is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in to the post-game show here on Hoops Talk. I'm Alan Sleewa. Lakers over the Raptors, 123-113. As you can tell, we are in the beautiful facility of what is Crypto.com Arena. We're going to be here for a solid 35, 40 minutes. We'll see how long we want to do this post-game show for tonight. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. If you don't mind, please do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. I will continue to do post-game show action around Lakers basketball. There's going to be times throughout the season. Obviously, I'll do it from the arena, which is probably one of my favorite things to do. I'm not going to lie here. Kind of nice to do this from the arena. But no matter what, we're going to be doing this. So thank you very much for hanging out. We got a lot to get into in tonight's show. Feel free to throw any comments that you want on there. I'll do my best to get to your comments as the show goes on. We'll talk about a little bit about the Lakers' kind of lackadaisical start, if you want to call it. Nothing too impressive for the Lakers, but it does feel like whenever they feel like waking up and whenever they feel like turning it on, they certainly find ways to do so. So really dominated the Raptors in the second half, outscored them by 8 in the third quarter, outscored them by 14 in the fourth quarter. So we'll get into all that. Anthony Davis, left eye, did not come back in the game, was sitting next to Mike Trudell during the game. So that's where my seat was. And Trudell, I'm just kind of listening to him. He's got all the updates. Usually I'm looking at Mike Trudell on Twitter trying to see, okay, what's the latest with this? What's the latest with that? I was just watching his laptop and saying, okay, Mike, what are you going to type here? But he's out, left eye. We'll see if JJ Redick, once we get to it, I got Spectrum on in the background too, so I'm going to look to see if there's anything there in regards to that. But I will keep you guys in tune if we hear anything in regards to that. LeBron, another triple-double. Austin Reaves with 27 points. D'Angelo Russell, obviously now coming off the bench for the Lakers. So we're going to get into all that stuff. Let's start with this. Let's start with Lakers were down 73-70 when Anthony Davis checked out of the game. So for the Lake Show, something to keep in mind here. I think it's important to keep in mind. Let me cut myself off here real quick, see if we can hear anything from JJ Redick here. I do have him up. Let's see if he mentions anything in regards to Anthony Davis.
Obviously, take a little trauma to the eye. It takes a little bit of time to sort of get your clear vision back. But other than that, no update.
When he went out, you guys were down 3, and kind of later in that third quarter, there were a couple big defensive rebounds from LeBron, and just as an example of the things he did to seem like kind of step up. What did you see from him and the rest of the team to find a way after that?
LeBron took control of the game, and not just with scoring the basketball, defensively, with his rebounding, his playmaking. Really, you're in that situation and AD goes out and it requires more from everyone else. And Jackson stepped up to that moment, played both ends of the court, and gave us a few extra possessions. His energy, I thought, really uplifted the group. But, the bench itself tonight, you think about, we were flat in the first half. D'Lo gave us a lift. We executed another 3 for 2 at the end of the first half to sort of get some momentum. And then Gabe, Dalton, Jackson off the bench in the second half were great.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. The main thing I wanted to get, I just wanted to hear what he thought of Anthony Davis. He said no update, his left eye. We'll get into that as we go on. This is another situation with Anthony Davis. The dude's going to probably just have to wear some goggles, wear something. This was an issue last year as well. So this isn't the first year that this has happened. So that's something Anthony Davis is going to have to address, and he's going to have to address it quick. Lakers need him in these lineups. Anyways, let's go back here real quick. What I was talking about. So what I was referencing there, I was talking specifically about how when Anthony Davis left the game, it was a 3-point game. It was a 3-point game at that point. It was a 3-point game. Lakers were down 3, and it was ugly. To be honest with you, I'm here and I'm watching the game, kind of saying to myself, I'm like, the hell am I watching here? How is Toronto up 6? How is Toronto up 8? How is Toronto up 10? There was a point, I think they had a 13 or 14 rebound advantage, something like that, and they were killing the Lakers off the glass. It was frustrating to watch. It really was. And then when Anthony Davis went out, LeBron, he did take over the game, and you're going to give other people credit as well, but I think there was, typically there's a stretch. If Anthony Davis isn't in the game, you're not typically saying to yourself, oh, this is when the Lakers are going to go on a run. We've talked about it here on the postgame show where we spent a lot of time talking about the Lakers are absolutely screwed once Anthony Davis checks out of games. They got no idea what they're going to do. Once Anthony Davis goes on the bench just to go take a quick breather, nobody's saying to themselves, okay, hey, this is good for the Lakers. That was different tonight. And maybe it's just as simple as this, because I do think I have to point this out, and I know people know this, but you're not going to get too excited to beat a Philly team that doesn't have Paul George available, doesn't have Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. You're not going to get excited about taking on a Toronto Raptors team that, frankly, really does not care at all if they're winning games right now or not. They're more interested in just developing young players. Scotty Barnes also isn't playing. They had a couple other guys that were out as well, Bruce Brown. So from that perspective, it's not like you're watching this game and you're impressed with any of that stuff. But I think when Anthony Davis did check out or when he left the game, it did kind of even the playing field. So now all of a sudden you were watching Anthony Davis not being there and saying, okay, how the Lakers are going to respond. LeBron got a couple big-time rebounds. They had a couple possessions when Anthony Davis was still there before he had his injury where the momentum started changing, and then the Lakers just kind of took over. Let me first just kind of start with this individual, and it might get a little boring talking about him because it happens too often. LeBron had another triple-double tonight, and just talk about a player dominating a game the way he does. And I don't really know what else to say. I mean, it's just, watching him play, I don't understand how he's still doing it. Let me just be completely frank and honest. And I know there's a lot of times that Laker fans might be frustrated with how LeBron is playing, or they might say this dude's not playing any defense, or they might say, how come LeBron isn't hustling for this or hustling for that? Because he's about to turn 40. And I'm sure LeBron is trying to pace himself this year and trying to pace himself like he has in previous years. But at the end of the day, watching this dude, it doesn't make any sense what he's doing. I don't understand how at this age he's still putting up 19, 16, and 10. Come on, guys. 16 assists in a game. 16 assists. I mean, that just kind of shows. I've always thought this about LeBron. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. When people used to make comparisons of LeBron or Michael, LeBron or Kobe, I'm like, you're comparing the wrong guy. LeBron, his game, I feel like, is more like Magic Johnson than it is any of those other two players. First off, his body style is completely different than those two other guys. But LeBron, I feel like, is a natural facilitator. He wants to facilitate. He wants to get other guys involved. But he also just happens to be the all-time leading scorer in the history of the NBA, can put up 35 points on any given night. But that doesn't mean that's his game. That doesn't mean that's what he wants to do night in and night out. He just got the talent to do it. But 16 assists for him. And like I mentioned, when Anthony Davis went out, LeBron took over the game. And there's really nothing else to say. There were other guys that contributed. There are other guys that did stuff as well. But ultimately, when you watch LeBron play, you're really just watching one of the greatest to ever do it. And it just doesn't make sense at this age for him to be still contributing the way he does. It just doesn't. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. I don't have an explanation for it. Basically, for the last 3-4 years before every start to the season, I keep telling myself, like, okay, guys, it's 2022. He's not going to keep doing this. All right, it's 2023. This can't keep happening. It's 2024, and what do you know? It's still happening, and LeBron is still doing it. So he had the 19, 16, and 10. Austin Reaves, phenomenal tonight. Led the Lakers in scoring, 27 points. Also had 6 assists. Had a couple beautiful dimes. Beautiful dimes. Who did he dish it to? Was it to Cam? I think it was to Cam Reddish. Kind of had a spin move and then threw the ball behind his back. Just a beautiful move. I think it was to Cam Reddish. But Austin Reaves had a couple of nice plays. Ended up shooting 10 for 17 from the field. A couple other guys that I thought were very, very impactful tonight. By the way, just to point out, AD did have 22 before he went out with his injury. We talked about this, a couple days ago, bringing D'Angelo Russell to the bench, and what really does that mean? I don't think we know what that means with the last two opponents that they had. I'd be more curious to see what happens when they're actually playing really good teams. But something to keep in mind And by the way, if you're putting up all these comments, I'm gonna get to you guys. Don't worry. I want to get through some of the players, and then we'll start getting into some of these topics in regards to that. But we talked about D'Lo coming off the bench, and I mentioned it, and I keep, unfortunately, I don't know who suggested it. Somebody about a week ago mentioned it to me. I think it was on the post game. It could have been my morning show, but I think it was a post game. Somebody had mentioned, hey, you should have this dude come off the bench, and I thought it was brilliant when I heard it. I'm like, I'm going to steal that idea. That's a great idea. And then a week later, JJ Redick runs with it. The bench had been so bad for the Lakers, and they've had no contributions. D'Lo gave them 15 tonight, 6 of 13 from the field. And basically, D'Lo can come in and kind of do whatever the hell he wants. They're going to need him to be aggressive. They're going to need his scoring. They're going to need his facilitating. They're going to need his playmaking. But really, it was Jackson Hayes that I thought probably had the best night of anybody from the bench perspective for the Lakers. A lot of energy, 4 of 6 from the field, had 12 points, had 6 rebounds, 21 minutes of play, a lot of times connecting with LeBron. LeBron's assists ended up with 16 assists. A lot of those were lobs that were going to Jackson Hayes. So really, really nice contributions from him as well. I thought those two players did a fantastic job. One other player that I want to point out here, and then I'll start looking into some of your guys' comments. Cam Reddish, 5 of 7 from the field, 11 points. You're not going to ask Cam Reddish to do anything other than go play some defense. If you have an open 3, take it. Hopefully you hit it. And he hit, it took 3 threes tonight, made one of them. Try to get some deflections, try to hit the glass. Little things like that is all Cam Reddish is going to be asked to do. And he was able to do that for the Lakers tonight. The one player I will say that continues to concern me, probably draw some frustration in the process, Rui Hachimura. Rui's struggling, man. I don't know if anything's going to change for Rui, but he's definitely struggling, not playing good basketball right now. 2 of 11 from the field, 0 of 5 from the three-point line. I harped on it before the season started. I just kept saying that Rui really, 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 it has to be a key piece for the Lakers. He just hasn't been. Like, I don't know how else to explain it to you guys. He hasn't been. And after every single game, I'm losing more and more confidence in the Rui Hachimura. I was talking to somebody a little bit earlier today, and we're watching the game, and I'm telling him, we're talking about Rui, and I just basically said, look, at the end of the day, I have, this is just me personally, I have zero, how do I put this? If Lakers are trying to make a deal and Rui is included, yeah, I'm not going to lose much sleep over it. If you need it to match salaries, awesome. If you need it because another team wants him, cool. If you got to throw in some picks to accommodate, where do we sign? I mean, they have to have Rui Hachimura contribute. They got to have a player like that contribute for the Lakers, period. Like, they don't have a choice. This isn't if Lakers are actually going to be considered a team that's a threat in the Western Conference, he has to be a player that's contributing and consistent on a night in, night out basis. I'll say this again. Nobody's asking Rui to go out there and put up 23 a night. Can you get your 15 a night, be efficient from the field, grab yourself 4 or 5 rebounds in the process, be an asset on the defensive side? That's all Lakers need from him. They just can't have these wild swings with Rui Hachimura. It's too important of a player. He's too key of a piece on this team. And frankly, the amount of money that he's making and everything that comes with that, I just think Rui's got to be, if Rui is this, then they got to figure out what plan B is. And they also have to, hope and pray that he's either going to turn it around or he's some part of package, whatever that package looks like. If D'Lo's in that, whatever that package looks like, he might have to be a part of one of those packages. All right, let's let us figure this out here real quick. Let's take a look at some of these comments here. Man, I wouldn't shut up for a second there. Jesus Lord, Sliwa, how much talking are you going to do? They got a lot going on back here. Everybody's here for the post-game show. Everybody hung out. Everybody. They're like, where's Sliwa out? Let's go find him. Sliwa Sundays. Sundays are good for me here. Sundays are good for me here. If I could do Sundays here at Crypto, that works out. All right, somebody says cool Zoom background today. I'm actually at the arena, buddy. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's keep going here. You know what I will say too? I want to talk about the first 10 games for the Lakers. I'll do that once I see some of these comments here. We'll go from there. Somebody needs to tell AD it's okay to wear goggles. 2 Laker greats wore them. He can be the third. Talking about obviously, you're talking about Kareem. You're talking about James Worthy. I'll throw some goggles on. You guys want me to do the post-game show with some goggles? I don't know what's going on here. Next thing I could turn around and something can come towards my eye. I'll wear some goggles. In all seriousness, he has to 100% do something because this is now going on last year and this year. So this is not something that just started yesterday. You got to be on the floor. Period. You got to be on the floor. People yelling at each other. Relax on this chat. Jesus. Relax, everybody. All right, let's see what else we got here. I got people saying salute. I got people saying hello. All right, let's see what we got here. Hayes looking like JaVale out there today. Effectively wild. All right, let's see what else we got here. We all knew D'Lo does not work. Lakers have lacked foot speed on the perimeter for years. Okay. See what else we got here. Rui made one play today, a pass to LeBron for transition layup, but didn't get an assist for it. Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, he's got to be better, and there's nothing else that I can say. I mean, just to kind of simplify this, I know this is coming off a win, but he's got – if Rui's not effective, Lakers are going to – I don't know if people think Lakers are going to go far or their hope is for the Lakers to go far. Rui's got to be a big piece of that. He does. And right now, he's not. He's definitely not. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Rui is too timid. I don't know if too timid. Dude's not confident enough in this play. Slee in the arena. I would love to take credit. Here's the problem. They haven't lost yet so far at home. So not yet. All right. Let's keep going here. Let me ask Laker fans here real quick. So we are, if I see, all right, if I could see LeBron, we'll try to get him as well if that's on. You know what? It's on right now. Let's jump into this one real quick. I want to hear Bron for a little bit, and then we'll go from there. Give me 2 seconds here.
And they finished on the other end midway through the third when kind of you guys were looking a little stagnant, and then he had a corner 3-2. Obviously, when his number was called in Detroit, you kind of made some plays too. What lift has he given you guys in the last week?
His energy. He's just very selfless, and his ability to defend on the perimeter is very, very key for our ball club. I mean, like I said the other night with Vando being out, it takes one of our primary, perimeter guys, defenders that we know we can just key in on a certain matchup. And now with Cam being and inserting back into the lineup, into the fray of things, we know we have that one guy on the perimeter that's okay. That's your matchup tonight. Make it tough on him, and Cam takes that responsibility.
When he arrived in LA, that wasn't necessarily what he'd been asked to do in other stops of his NBA career back in college. How have you seen him kind of adopt that as this is who I am? This is who I am as a professional basketball player.
I mean, he's more than that, and he showed that tonight, getting a steal, getting a layup, finishing at the end of the third, off a closeout, finishing at the rim with that layup to give us a big boost, hitting some threes as well. So he's more than a defender, but I think he's smart enough to know, him, what he means to this team and how he's going to be on the floor. And we respect that and we love that. Like I say, he's just a selfless player.
All right, that's LeBron right there. Just ridiculous, man. This dude is ridiculous. I don't get it. I'm looking right now. First 10 games of the season for LeBron. He's averaging 23 points a game, shooting 52% from the field, 7.5 rebounds, almost 9 assists a game. 9 assists a game, still doing that at age 39. You could love LeBron. You could hate LeBron. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I know a lot of people are very opinionated on LeBron. This dude is nobody's ever done it for as long as he has, period, point blank. Nobody's been this productive, even remotely close to this productive. I could look at his numbers right now, 23, 9, and 7.5. And you could find some of the best players in the NBA that are in their prime. And I don't know if their numbers are as good as that, or they're averaging 9 assists at this stage. I know it's just 10 games, but Jesus, how many years you got playing this NBA and still make it happen this way? It's incredible. I saw something else here. One of the other Lakers absolutely need to make a move now. Scratch, I'll tell you this. It probably won't happen now because the NBA usually doesn't make moves this early. But if they want a shot versus the big boys when the dust settles, they're going to need to add to this team, period. They are. And, we could look at the game, and I think actually the 6-4 record, I want to talk about their first 10 games here in just a second. And you guys, I'll throw this out to Laker fans out there. Your thoughts over the first 10 games. 10 games is not a big sample size. I think 20 games is the perfect sample size to kind of have a little bit of an idea what this team is. But give me your thoughts on what you think so far through the first 10 games. What are the things you like? What are the things that you're concerned with? But for me, just to kind of go back to this comment, and I know Rui's the one that's sparking it, there are a few teams you just know right out the gate that are going to be there at the end. And there's a few teams out there that you just know they are real deal. Lakers are not in that category, and they're not in that conversation. In order for them to be in that conversation, I do think they're going to have to find ways to improve the roster. I was here a little bit early today, so I'm here hanging out, and saw Palinka. And first thing that I kind of and I've said this before, but one of the first things that I thought when I saw him, it's like, I wonder what he's going to do, how he's going to juggle this team, this roster, and those couple of draft picks that they have. There's no time left for the Lakers. Like, this is the year. LeBron is in his 22nd year in the NBA. This might be the final chapter. I don't know. Maybe LeBron plays this year and decides to stop playing. Okay, maybe LeBron plays this year and then we'll see what he is a year from now. But the team is there is no next year. You can't really look at the Lakers and say, well, it's all about next year, because if you're not using all your assets now with LeBron and Anthony Davis, then you might as well just not use LeBron and Anthony Davis and start the rebuilding process. You know what I mean by rebuilding process. You don't have to completely shift everything and start trading everybody, but they're going to roll with this. And clearly LeBron and Anthony Davis want to be on a championship contender. And this roster is not good enough to truly compete for a championship. So when I saw Palinka today, and I know we've had this conversation, I'm looking at the chat here, I think they're 100% going to do something by the time we get to January or February, because they got to know too. Go look at that Western Conference and what it looks like. Now, here's a couple outliers. And the only reason why I hesitate on this, I think Vando is a fantastic player for the Lakers, and I love the role that he plays. I don't really think you could depend on Christian Wood, but I think Christian Wood will help the Lakers roster as well. However, with all that being said, you still need more talent. They got some help coming. I think D'Angelo off the bench is the right idea. I think D'Angelo off the bench is what the Lakers should do, and I think that is going to naturally help their bench. I think some health will help them as well, but you got some tradable assets, and you got a couple draft picks, and, they've kicked the can down the road. I don't think you could kick the can down the road any further. Okay, first 10 games. I was talking about the first 10 games, and we're going to get into that here in just a second. But I'll tell you guys about the first 10 games. Here are my thoughts. My overall thoughts on the Lakers. They're 6-4. I'm not actually hating on the 6-4. I'm not. I actually think this is one of the things I was saying a couple days ago before they had the game against Philly. They came back from that road trip 1-4. Obviously, everybody was disappointed when they start the season out 3-0. But I think a lot of the chatter and the conversation was, okay, but they can still find a way. If they just win these 2 games at home, it's Philly and Toronto, I'll take a 6-4 start. I mean, when you started the season out 3-0, I don't think you wanted 6-4. But if I told you through the first 10 games, Lakers are 6-4, we've seen just how bad of starts the Lakers have got into. They've got into some awful, awful starts over the years. Okay, that's not the case this year. They're not, so far behind the pack before anything even starts. That's just kind of been how it's been for the Lakers over the last few years. I'm not hating the 6-4 start. I think there's some good wins in that 6-4 start, specifically in those first 3 games. You beat Minnesota, who should be a contender this year. I'm still a little weary of how this is all going to fit after they traded Karl-Anthony Towns. But you got that W against Minnesota. Phoenix, one of the best records right now in the Western Conference, you got as well. Sacramento, you look at the Sacramento Kings. That's a team that Lakers got swept by last year and have really struggled against Sacramento. What's the other good win that the Lakers have? Those are probably really, that's that 1, 2, 3. They got the win, 2 against Toronto, 1 against Philly. So the first 3 wins were the solid wins. Nothing impressive on the road. They got one more win, or they got one more game coming up against the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Memphis is already all beat up. So I don't know if John Morant's going to play. I don't think he is. I don't know if Desmond Bane is back. I don't know if Marcus Smart is back. That game's going to be on Wednesday. So you got a chance to start the season out 7-4 before you start going back on the road. And then, obviously you have your in-season tournament's going to start at some point. Is that banner up there? I was literally looking for the in-season tournament banner today. I couldn't find it. They take it down? I don't know. I actually genuinely don't know. I thought it was up there. Maybe they took it down. Maybe I wouldn't stop. Maybe I wouldn't shut up about the banner, and they finally took it down. Well, we got a banner up there. Well, why would we have a banner up there? Look up there. Look. Freaking Elgin Baylor, Shaq's up there. Kobe's up there. He's got his 2 jerseys. Chick Hearn's up there. Pau Gasol. You want to put an in-season tournament banner up there? Get the damn banner down. What are we doing here? I don't know if it's up there. I can't even see. Can't see right now. By the way, you want to get me going? Just talk about the in-season tournament banner. Y'all got spoiled with a 3-0 start. We did get spoiled. They went 3-0. Got excited. What were you supposed to do? Go 3-0 and not get excited about it? They beat 3 solid teams. On pace for 50 wins. Is that 50? 6-4? Are you sure that's 50? That sounds like a lot. I can't do the math right now. Got to stack wins now instead of gassing out at the end of the year like they've done the past 2 years to get to the playoffs. You're right about that. I mean, how many different times have the Lakers kind of put themselves in a position where they've put themselves in a position where all of a sudden by the end of the year, they're struggling. By the end of the year, not even struggling, by the end of the year, they just don't have any energy left, right? They've always kind of done that to themselves. They put themselves in that position. All right, let's see what else we got here. D'Lo off the bench is a good idea. D'Lo on the trade block is a better idea. Listen, if D'Angelo Russell got traded, I don't think there's, I'm not going to be too overly concerned about it. I'm not going to be too worried about it. I think a lot of people that have watched me, certainly know that. I'm concerned with the weak bench. They didn't get the center they need, and Vando's health is the guy going to play this season. Well, he's definitely going to play at some point. I don't know when he's going to play, but he's definitely going to be in there, hopefully sooner than later. I think they're trying to address the bench, to be honest with you. I think that's part of the reason why they decided, all right, let's kind of switch this up here. Let's take our chances and let's put D'Angelo Russell off the bench. That bench is that was an important move. No question about it. That was a very, very important move for the Lakers to throw D'Lo there. And frankly, I mean, to be honest with you, what's D'Lo going to say about it? Is D'Lo going to get upset about it? All right, I don't think the Lakers really care that much. I think it's more important for them to try to find ways to win. If JJ Redick says, I want to move D'Lo to off the bench, then guess what? D'Lo's coming off the bench. That's just what's going to happen. All right, let's see some more of these comments here. And I do think that's going to help. All right. Salute to the veterans of the USA Armed Services tomorrow. Absolutely, 100%. They did a cool thing earlier here, kind of mentioning that and doing something similar. So absolutely, 100%. Veterans Day coming up tomorrow. All right, let's see what else we got here. I like this businessman sleeve. I know I had to throw the suit back on. Kind of forgot about. So kind of like where the hell are my suits? I don't even know I still had suits. I haven't wore a suit in a second here. I think the last time I wore the suit was last time I was here, a couple weeks ago. Official name, Emirates NBA Cup 2024. Cha-ching. Freaking making money off that cup. They are making money off that cup. All right, couple more things here that I want to get into, and then I'd like to end the show before they actually kick me out of here. But before I do, let's take a quick listen. Austin Reaves time. I haven't really got a chance to hear too much Austin Reaves. I haven't played Austin Reaves for you guys. Let's take a listen here to Austin.
You can get it done.
So you just said your level of compete has been higher defensively the past couple of games. Is this something you guys had a one-on-one conversation about, or something you guys discussed?
Yeah, he set me down before last game and showed me some clips of, some defensive clips that I was not competing on, and that's not me. I kind of hang my hat on playing hard every possession, and in that road trip, there was a couple instances where I wasn't, and he set me down, showed it to me, and I appreciated it because it's like I love being coached and respect what he's got to say, and then once you see it, you can't argue it. Before I could have probably made something up to why it wasn't my fault, but sitting in front of the computer screen and it looks as bad as it looked, you can't make anything up.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.
All right, that's A. Reaves right there. The one thing I will say is I got a lot of confidence in the dude. There are times he's inefficient. There's times he's just not hitting buckets. He's not hitting shots, and you could tell it affects him. The other part of it as well, and I've said this before on here, they go after Austin Reaves. Other teams kind of look at him and say, all right, well, if we're going to go after a guy, let's try to target Austin Reaves, and they certainly do that. But he was solid tonight, 27. Lake fans, I will say this, and I've kind of said this before, really want to see the Lakers now when they get some better opponents that they're going up against. Let's see what it looks like, because the road trip, I think, brought everybody back to reality, and now they've had a couple cake games here at home. So we'll see as the schedule gets a little bit tougher. Next game for the Lakers. So this is what they got this week. They got Memphis on Wednesday here. They're at San Antonio and at New Orleans on a Friday, Saturday set. And I want to look real quick here. I know San Antonio, where are the Spurs? They're 4-6 on the season. And then New Orleans is kind of reeling, and Zion is out. He's going to be out for a while. I don't know how long. They just said indefinitely, so I don't know how long he's out for. But they got a chance this week to continue to do some damage and to continue to put themselves in a position where, like we were all talking about, they can get off to a good start. They're not, it's not inconceivable here that you beat Memphis at home, that you beat San Antonio. Even if you split Spurs and New Orleans, you find yourself at 8-5 by the time the week is done. So let's see what they can do. A couple scores in the NBA I want to get into. I'll read a couple more comments, and then we're going to call it a night. So Celtics beat the Bucks, so another kind of power matchup. Do you guys know the Bucks are now 2-8? Power matchup from what we thought the Bucks were going to be. They're 2-8 now. They lost 113-107. Pacers beat the Knicks. Knicks are a game below 500. Keep that one in mind. I'm just looking for some of these more important games. Timberwolves lost by 1 to the Heat. I saw Warriors beat the Thunder. Warriors are 8-2. So are the Thunder. Nuggets barely beat the Mavs 122-120. And then Kings beat the Suns. Grizzlies blew out the Blazers. So if you look at the standings here real quick, so here's where we are standings-wise. Phoenix, Oklahoma City, and Golden State are all tied on top of the West, 8-2. Denver is 7-3, Memphis is 7-4, and then Lakers are 6-4. So Lakers and the Rockets, as well as the Timberwolves and the Clippers, actually, are all sitting at 6-4. So very cluttered. They're sitting 6th in the Western Conference, but I mentioned kind of where everybody else is, so something to keep in mind there. All right. So and I saw too. Somebody said, you guys can tell me because I didn't see it. Holmgren, I know he's going to be out for a little bit. Davis ruled out. He left the game in the middle. Somebody say something about KD. KD out at least 2 weeks with a calf strain. Okay. So that explains that one. I'll actually look at this because we got Memphis coming up on Wednesday. They played earlier. Who played for Memphis? I know Ja Morant was out. Yeah, they still got a lot of guys out. I mean, Memphis still's got a lot of players out. So how that's going to change by the time you get to Wednesday, I don't know. Marcus Smart ruled out for Sunday. Desmond Bane was ruled out for Sunday, so they both didn't play. And then Ja Morant is considered week to week. Who knows? Maybe Marcus Smart and Desmond Bane both come back against the Lakers. If they were ruled out, but it was a decision made on game day, maybe that's going to be a little bit different down the road for them. All right, let's take a quick look here. A couple of your comments, and then we're going to call it a night here. A lot of winnable games coming up, and they got to take advantage of it. No question about it. Lake Show can go 9-4 by next week. What I said about kind of finishing off the rest of the week 2-1, if that's the case, okay. Obviously, if they sweep the week with some of these winnable games, I just don't know about the Lakers once they're on the road. I really genuinely don't know sometimes. Bucks are done. Lillard trade coming up. That's crazy. That is crazy. Lakers have to believe more than the fans do. Let me see with this one. I'm hesitant to use the term winnable games after that Detroit loss. You're right about that. I can't argue that. I think you're 100% right. I think there's a lot of times you look at this team and it might look at, the schedule might say one thing that doesn't guarantee them a W by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't guarantee them a W, especially when they're out on the road. All right, got to get those wins. Let's see what else we got here. I got the Bucks are done. My cousin wants me to give his daughter a shout out. 10th inning, bottom of the 10th inning. She came through with a single. Audrey made it happen. So she got the W for her team out in Bonita. Okay. All right. There's the shout out. Go look on YouTube. It's all over YouTube. Highlights everywhere. I almost went down there to go do a post-game show for Audrey. All right. Shout out to Audrey there. Shout out to Audrey. All right. Couple more here. We're going to call it a day. You know what we haven't done in a while? Why don't we do this here real quick? Why don't we do some roll call here? We haven't done roll call in a while. Let's do some roll call. And people that are so wherever you're tuning in from, let me know. It's been a while since we've done it. So let's get a little action here, and we'll give some shout outs here. Let's see here. Little Italy. No, I can't catch up with these. Little Italy in the house. Little Italy, New Jersey. Bless you, Sliwa, SDSU. Perfect. You got everything in. Are we upset at a 12-8 through Lakers 20 games? No, I don't think we'd be upset. I mean, 13-7 would be amazing, but I don't think we would be upset 12-8. By no stretch do I think we'd be upset. All right, and if somebody wants, what do we got here? Go Audrey in the house. Everybody's. Colorado Springs, Rochester, New York, Cincinnati, Ohio, Sherman Oaks, the 206 Seattle. Thank you very much for tuning in. I mean, you talk about Laker fans being everywhere. They're everywhere. Cal State Fullerton in the house. Des Moines, Iowa. I always say that wrong. Temple City in the house. SD in the house. Italy in the house. I'll be back at SD tomorrow. Thank you for your broadcast, Lee. Thank you very much for being here. Philippines, let's go. Bargain shopper about to celebrate her 40th birthday. 40 years young. Happy birthday, bargain shopper tomorrow. We got you. Big Bear, California. Thank you for tuning in. Anaheim. Nope. Crenshaw. Anaheim in the house. Jacksonville, Florida in the house. Guys, I'm about to get kicked out of this place. You got to get going here. Let's go. Let's wrap it up here, guys. Let's get these wrapped up here. There's nobody left in here. Might be the only one left here. Arroyo Grande, thank you for being here. South Pasadena in the house. Go get some shots up on the Slee court. I can't. There's too many people out here today. I had it all to myself last time. I mentioned Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. My next show, just to give everybody an idea, I'm going to plug this here real quick. I'm back on tomorrow. And I'll do my show at 8 a.m. tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Tomorrow will be very, very heavy Lakers. Trevor Lane of Lakers Nation is going to join me. He's going to come on around 8:15 tomorrow. So a lot of Lakers basketball tomorrow. If you don't know, I'm doing a show 5 days a week on YouTube now, Monday through Friday, starting at 8 a.m. And tomorrow's show will be with Trevor Lane. So Trevor Lane's going to hang out. I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you tune in. Got actually a lot going on this week for the morning show. And then the next post-game show I'm going to do is going to be coming up on Wednesday. So thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being a part of the broadcast. Before they turn off the lights, let's get the hell out of here. Thank you all for hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the damn channel. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Have a great night.